I've worked with Pastor Kerry, and he does a lot of counseling for personal and things that you need some help. But definitely, we're going to be talking about effective communication here. Pastor Kerry?
We are sort of a broad subject kind of thing, effective communication. I speak to large groups. I run a couple small groups, facilitate them during the course of every week, do the counseling thing, and then there's always the correspondence, and a lot of you do that kind of thing. So there's communication flying around all over the place. There's been a lot of communication flying around today, and how to be effective about that. So I don't know if you want me to elaborate any, or if you just want to ask questions or those kinds of things. Well, one of the things I've found, and it's not just because I have a ministry background, I also have sort of corporation background. I come from the Midwest. I've been here in Southern California 3 years, and that was a big move for us and my family. But just interacting with people and building communication lines all over the place, it's just sort of what we do with our life. But I found one of the critical things is the word trust, and we hear that word, we've heard it here today a lot, is just huge over the top, because ultimately things will go forward or they'll break down on the issue of trust. And I think one of the things I've had to continually do in my world, because I'm around to people a lot of times and interacting, that kind of thing, is to stay genuine, to stay interested, and to really care. I have a missionary friend who serves a lot overseas, and he articulates that what he's doing is he's building bridges of trust that can bear the weight of truth. And I know for me, when I am in an interaction, whether I'm encouraging somebody else or whether I'm in a business relationship and I'm trying to get a read on them, I want to have that trust really established well. And there's a lot of things that we can do to build that trust, a lot of things we can do to undermine the trust. PQT, I call it, prior question of trust, is what I'm doing, thinking, or saying, building trust or undermining trust. And if the trust starts to break down, then things just collapse. If a football coach is in the locker room and he's lost the trust of his team, he's done. Same way if you're in church ministry, same way in business interactions, if you're in a real estate deal, that kind of deal. And so to always protect the issue of trust, and that comes back to some of what I refer to as the interior life. We had, I like the panel we had up here with the brain health, and physical health, but there's soul health, and there's the interior life. And to stay authentic and real and transparent, to look at people, to interact with people, not as projects or as here's potential commission money or something like that, but to genuinely care. And sometimes because we run our life really fast, we run out of energy. We run out of caring energy. But to be able to see everybody in the way that God sees them, that used to be one of my early prayers in life, was God help me to see people as you see them. That's a scary prayer, actually, because he'll break your heart for people and care for people. And I know there's business lines that you can't cross necessarily in being able to build empathy and care and build the trust kind of aspect. But for me, if I move outside of really genuine caring for the person that's in front of me, whether it's in a large room like this or in a personal counseling relationship, then I'm going to be straying away from not only my values, but really being effective and caring. Because we can, you were making the mention of the emails you get about people that have a bunch of money to send you. You can sniff out a scam pretty quick kind of deal. Well, people can sniff out if you're really caring and authentic and really want to see the best in their life. And so I would just say there's a lot of things you can talk about in effective communication, from good listening skills, good delivery skills, good eye contact, being able to hear people out, rephrase it, being able to be quick in correspondence, whatever it may be. But trust is just huge, and that would be my one word of encouragement, because you won't go any further than the bridge of trust you're building to bear the weight of truth. I deal with it in broken marriages, people trying to move forward in life in different ways. Trust can be rebuilt. It can be destroyed in a moment, but it's going to have to take time to be rebuilt. And I think being able to establish clear expectations to say, okay, I know that you don't trust me in this, but can I make some steps forward, like in a marriage, that kind of thing, hey, there's been unfaithfulness or those kinds of things. Let's go back and just reestablish a commitment and a bond to love one another. Love's an action, it's not a feeling. And to be able to just say, this is going to take a ways. Will you give me the margin or the white space to be able to make this happen? And so just that expectation up front that trust can't be restored quickly, but to say, will you go on this journey with me and to see where it leads? Yeah, there's a vulnerability and a transparency you just need to have. Like being able to, a lot of times you don't want to admit to your weaknesses, but weaknesses are huge about building trust. It's like, really? You have that problem? Oh, then I can relate to you. You're not some, and when you're in ministry, that always has like, oh, this pastor up there, this kind of thing. No, hey, I'm a farm kid that loves Jesus, and I decided to be able to help impact people's lives, And so trying to just relate to them on a personal level, when you establish, like if you have a client or rapport with somebody, you're trying to get their story a little bit. Let me hear your story out. People don't want to hear your story, that whole adage, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. But to be able to just be transparent and real and build that confidence that you're relatable.
Right. I think the accountability and transparency really gets you very far away. I know for myself, service is big for me. It's actually my gift is service, not just in the military, but in the real estate life. And when you take on a client, and you are focusing on a service to them and serving them, and that's what your motivation is, then you're going to be able to earn that trust. You are going to be able to gain more buyers, sellers, things like that. When you start serving your community, when you start serving, everything is a service-minded thing. Sorry, my brain injuries. I don't come up with the right words, but really, when you serve others, you are served in such a big, huge way. And so if that is your motivation to serve others and help people, when you're helping somebody to buy or sell a home, you are helping them. This is the biggest decision they could make in their life. It's the American dream, right? So when we're helping them and we're serving them, I really believe that you gain that trust. This is not just about a commission check. This person really, really cares.
That's good. I think it is true. It's not just about a commission check or salaries. When life's all said and done, it's about people, I believe. And I want to leave behind me a string of people that have been impacted in an encouraging way. And those are the memories that I carry forward. Even from today, you don't remember a lot of the communication, the information, but you remember the personalities and the people. And to do that wherever you are.
But I have a question for Pastor Kerry real quick.
I know, it's going to be a hard one.
Since we're talking kind of ethics and that type of stuff, we often run into people, we all know people that you would never think would have ethical breaches. They seem to be solid on top of things. And then at some point we find out something went wrong. And we find out that maybe they just weren't prepared when that opportunity presented itself. They thought they would not go down that path, but they did. What can people do to prevent that? How do they get into that mess, and how do we make sure we're never one of those people?
Yeah. I think you need to make sure that your private life and your public life are matching. Because you can have a public persona, and behind that you can have a deteriorating interior life. And honesty, being able to have accountability, to be in community of people who know you, who can call you out on something, that kind of deal. But there is the desire to see that the interior life is growing as successful, who I am, my character, my wholeness, that's growing as successfully as my public life or my career life, and to make sure that those two don't get far beyond. And those people that are gifted more than other people, this is more of a scarier kind of thing, because you can ride a long ways on your giftedness, maybe your personality, but underneath things are eroding, and there's a wholeness issue that you have to give attention to, spiritually, emotionally, relationally, and otherwise. Integrity, yeah. Let your yes be yes and your no be no.
Okay, I've also invited Steve here because he missed the last expert panel discussion, but Steve, do you want to talk about a little bit about your experience with the Finest Resources and in regards to your business being part of it?
Okay, with what Marie's putting together, it's a great concept. So part of the Finest Resources is to have trusted professionals that you can refer to that can support you, because as a real estate agent, you're a connector. You have to have your resources for title, escrow, for plumbers, roofers, you name it, because you're there to support your client, and your client needs help. They want direction. They don't want you to just say, here's 3 cards of 3 roofers, go call them. No. They want you to say, okay, here's a roofer. You need to call them and take care of this if you want to sell your house or whatever. So they want direction. They don't want you to just throw out some names and cards. They want you to say, I trust this person. They're one of the best ones in the area. Call them, let's get this done. So part of the resources is part of that. You need a team. And as far as you need a team amongst yourselves, other agents, to be able to uplift each other, to edify each other, and to support each other. Certainly, I've been part of different coaching groups in the past, and if you're not part of one, I think you need to be part of one. 16 years ago, joined Buyer for Only with Joe Stump. It's a great organization, got me to one level. After that, joined Rick Ruby's group, The Core. Much higher level of expectation there, much more expensive coaching group, but it got me to the next level. Okay, and so I'm always part of a group to strive to get to that next level to support myself, because otherwise you don't want to be an island out there all by yourself. Make sense?
Yes. Anyway, I think this is it. Thank you, Pastor Kerry. Thank you, Steve. Any questions, you guys? No? Okay, I think we are